Hello and welcome to my attempt to solve Major Pain in the A C Sharp E by Justin Vitanza, aka Puzzle Pusher. He's got a YouTube channel where he solves some very difficult puzzles very well. So do go and check him out. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. It was my birthday a few days ago, and a few members of the Sudoku community very generously made puzzles for me to solve for my birthday. I did a Twitch stream. I went live on Twitch on my birthday and got through most of them, but sadly, I ran out of time to do this one. So I have reserved the very special treatment of being made into a YouTube video for this video for this puzzle, which I'm quite nervous about. Almost all of my solving these days happens live on Twitch, where I have a Twitch chat to help me when I get stuck. But recently, I've been moaning that Twitch chat has been more of a hindrance than a help because of how much they distract me and bring me off course. So I am going to put my money where my mouth is and attempt Major Pain in the A C sharp E all by myself. So, let's look at the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Text outside the grid is for note-taking purposes only. Place 9 sharps and 9 flats in grid cells, such that for each type there is one in each row, column, and box. Each digit 1 to 9 must be marked by exactly 1 sharp and 1 flat. No cell may have both a sharp and a flat. Major chords. The digits 1 to 9 represent ascending sequential notes in a major key. I will assume C major in examples, but this is not required. Starting with the root. For example, 1 equals C, 2 equals D, 3 equals E, and so on. It's probably easiest if we do just stick to the C major scale, because they are all natural notes normally. So yes, we'll stick with C major as our example. Cells with a sharp are 1/2 step higher, or semitone higher if you prefer that terminology, and cells with a flat are 1/2 step or semitone lower. Each set of 3 connected circles contains notes that form a major chord. The order, octave, and enharmonic spelling are irrelevant for this restriction. For example, the following are all C major chords: 1, 3, 5, 3, 7 sharp, or sharp 7, 5, 5, flat 4, 8. Yes, okay. And no 2 clues contain the same major chord. All of the previous examples count as the same chord for this purpose. I have a short primer on the needed theory from another earlier puzzle here, which I have over here. I'm not going to attempt to do a music theory lesson right now, because I understand all of this. You would hope I understand all of this, given that I am a music teacher. But yes, as a quick example, any major triad you form by starting on a note and then going up by 4 semitones and then up again by 3 semitones. So if we did A major, you go 1, 2, 3, 4 to get to a C sharp, and you go 1, 2, 3 to get to an E. But we're being told that the C sharp doesn't necessarily have to be written as a C sharp or an 8 sharp or a 1 sharp, I think, in the case of the kind of numbers replacing the letters. It's kind of a cipher, but the wrong way round. Maybe. It could be written as a D flat, which would be a 2 flat, and that would be an A major chord. So hopefully, if you don't already have a bit of an understanding of music theory, you can have a read through this on Ignorance is Bliss. But I will try and explain what I'm doing as I go along. Right, let's restart the timer and try and solve this. I have spent a matter of seconds glancing at this grid already, I will confess. But literally all I've spotted is that, well, we've got a triad here. I presume it's these kind of marked cells Yeah, three connected circles. These are kind of minims, I suppose. We're meant to interpret these as. So a minim chord. These three have an 8 and a 9 in them, which would imply a C and a D. Now, C and D do not belong in a major chord together, but if we flatten the C or sharpen the D, or both, we can get two notes that belong to a major chord. We've got a similar thing, in fact, exactly the same thing over here, because 1 and 8 are effectively the same. They're both representing a C. Same with 2 and 9. They're both representing D. So again, we'll either need to flatten the 1 or sharpen the 2 or both. But I'm now thinking we can't have the same major chord. So if we, for example, if we flattened the 1 but left the 2 as it is, we would get a C flat, also known as a B, and the D would remain normal. So B and D, they are part of exactly one major chord, which is the G major chord, G, B, D, or G, C flat, D is also fine in this puzzle. So we could have a 1 flat here, but we then couldn't form the same major chord over here by putting this as an 8 flat. But we could make this an 8 flat if we make that a 9 sharp, because 8 flat would be a C flat, otherwise known as a B. But then the D, if we made it a 9 sharp, it would be a D sharp, and B, D sharp, F sharp forms a B major chord. So those are two of our options. The third option is that we don't flatten the 8 or the 1. We do sharpen the 9 or the 2 to get a D sharp. So we get a C, a D sharp, and then they are both part of an A flat major chord. So actually we have three options, even though it doesn't immediately appear to be the case that C and D share major triads. We do actually have three options, which are G major, A flat major, and B major. How do we decide which of those we want? Well, I am noticing there's something going on with box 1 as well, isn't there? Oh, right, my computer does this funny thing sometimes, where it doesn't know what time it is, and then suddenly it does. So we've just jumped forwards by nearly 1200 hours in time, apparently. I'm going to restart my clock again. We've probably had, 5 minutes so far? Most of it has just been me explaining the kind of music theory behind what I'm seeing, so I don't feel like a total fraud resetting it back to 0 from here. But I am now a little bit stuck. So we definitely have a 1 and a 2 over here. Could they be part of the same triad? And the thing is, I think they... No, I don't think they can actually. No, they can. They can. They absolutely can. So if over here we make this G major by doing 1 flat and 2 normal, and then over here we make it A flat major by having the 1 normal and the 2 sharp, then that's fine. We haven't sharpened the 1, or flattened the 1 twice. We haven't sharpened the 2 twice. And then over here, to make sure that we don't get the same triad 3 times, we can make this the B major triad where we flatten the 8 and sharpen the 9. Okay, well, let's think about what the third note is going to be in that case. So if we did want... Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. Um, I'm being slow. It's the third note that matters, doesn't it? Because if we flatten the 8 to make a B, and we sharpen the 9 to make a D sharp, the third note needs to be an F sharp. How do we get that? We could make it by doing a 4 sharp, we could make it by doing a 5 flat, except we can't because we've just used the sharp and the flat for this row or or this box, however you want to think about it. So actually B major is off the cards. We can't have B major here. We must have, between these two chords, G major and A flat major. One of these will be flat. Um, oh, that is interesting. Um, right, sorry, my brain is getting ahead of my mouth. So yeah, one of these will be flat, and one of these will be sharp, but they won't both exist in the same box. Okay, so let's just make a note of the fact that we've kind of accounted for G major and A flat major between these two chords. So the third note for G major would have to be just a 5, just a regular 5. So one of these is a 5. The other one, the third note for A flat major, would be an A flat, which is either a 6 flat or a 5 sharp. But I think, yeah, in the A flat major version, the chord that's an A flat major chord will have a normal 8 and a sharp 9. So we can't actually have a sharp 5 as well. That would be two sharps in the row. So we would need a flat 6. So this actually is a 5-6 pair. And I think flat exists in both of these. Sorry, my brain is now on to thinking, what colour scheme do we use? Um, so in the G major chord, we need the 1 or the 8 to be flat. And in the A flat major chord, we need the 6 to be flat. So actually, one of these will be a flat in both cases. See, flat is kind of negative. It's taking one away. So I should be using something like red, right? Because red is often associated with taking away. Shall we do that? Yeah, let's do that. Um, I'm only hesitating because in my mind, sharp feels more kind of aggressive, and red is more of an aggressive colour, and a flat. Hold on, no, we've been provided a colour scheme. What am I talking about? We've literally been provided one. Sharps are blue, flats are green. Okay, we'll do that, and then maybe grey could be. No, no, I don't want grey because for being neither, because then we won't be able to see the chords. Maybe we'll use like beige for neither or something like that, or this. Oh no, but green is. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, the point is, one of these is going to be green, and one of these is going to be green. And that's guaranteed. So we actually do have a flat over here. Right. I think I'm happy with that. Okay. So what now? Shall we think? Yes, we probably should think. That's a good idea. Um, so one of these will be sharp, but we don't know. Yeah, so this cell isn't going to be sharp, but that doesn't necessarily put it onto these triads. Um, Yeah, YouTube style solves are difficult, aren't they? I miss my Twitch chat. I'm sure they'd tell me what to do right now. But anyway, let's think harder about this box. So I don't think the 1 and the 2 can go on the same triad anymore because or chord, whatever you want to call it. A triad is a type of chord that has 3 notes. That's all I mean by triad. Um, yes. So I don't think 1 and 2 can go on the same triad anymore because the only thing they could be would be a B major triad, but that would require 2 sharps or 2 flats in the same box. So 1 and 2 are in separate columns here, which means they must be in separate columns in box 4, but I don't think that's relevant right now. It must be something to do with this box. So 1 and 2, whatever has the 1 on it. Um, let's think about that one. What can 1 have on it? There's basically almost any chord could have a 1 on it. I think the only exceptions are B flat major, D major, and E flat major. I think every other triad could potentially have a 1 on it. What about a 2? I think we'll see a similar thing. 2 can't be part of a C major triad, or E major, or F major. Um, hold on. Is F sharp major just immediately impossible? Yeah, it is. F sharp major uses 3 sharps: F sharp, A sharp, C sharp. You can rewrite any of those as flat, so you can make it G flat, B flat, D flat, but we're still going to require at least 2 sharps or at least 2 flats. So that's just off the table. I don't think there are any other chords like that. B major is just about possible with some sharp flat shenanigans. In fact, how many chords do we have? That's a good question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, so we do have a lot of chords. So chords like B major will be difficult because B major will require 2 modifiers. It needs a D sharp and an F sharp, or an E flat, or a G flat. It needs 2 of those 4 things. C sharp major is another one. E flat major, another one, with 2 black keys, and the black keys are the ones that need the modifiers. So maybe the question becomes, where do we put those ones that require the double modifiers? Because if we put either of them in here, I mean, right, we've got 2 chords remaining that don't need any modifiers at all. They can have modifiers, C major and F major. They can have modifiers. I mean, we've already got the examples for C major over here, 1 3 5, or it could be 3 sharp 7 5, or 5 flat 4 8. So they can have modifiers, but they don't need them. So if we were to have one of our double modifier chords in here, the other would have to be C or F. Interestingly, this 2 can't belong to a C major chord or F major chord. Because a 2 starts out as a D, and you can flatten it or sharpen it, but none of those notes are in C major or F major. Oh, okay, alright, this is a tough puzzle, but I feel like I'm chipping away at the information required to solve it. Slowly but surely. So we've already accounted for a flat 6. I should make a note of that. Should we just grey it out? We've accounted for that. So the other, let's try minimizing. I think I can see where this might go. I might be wrong. Let's try minimizing the number of sharps and flats that we need for the remaining chords. At a minimum, we need 1 modifier for A major. 1 there. Actually, this isn't going to become nearly enough. We could skip B because we've got few enough chords that we don't actually need all of them. We don't need any modifiers there. If we've skipped B, we need C sharp somewhere, which needs 2 modifiers, so we're up to 4 modifiers. 5 in total, 7 in total, 8 in total. So actually, I was half thinking we might get some global deduction where we need all of the modifiers possible. I mean, there will be a modifier in column 9 that's not being used for any chords, even if we do put our flat 6 on there. The sharp won't be used in a chord. Okay, so it's not that kind of global deduction that we need. I think it must be box 1. So 2 and 1. Is it though? Yeah, I don't really fancy going through all of the options, and so I'm just scanning quickly for other ideas. Like, what about this? What about, can 6 go on here? A 6 with a 7 is an A with a B, isn't it? We can turn that into F major or E major very easily. Yeah, either of those is fine, with a little bit of modifying. Right, let's come back to box 1. It must be something to do with the fact that we've got 1 and 2 in here, and we've got a flat in here. And we have 5 or 6 in here as well. All being piled over here. So what are the options? So a 2 can represent any of those notes. So it can be part of an A major triad, B flat major, B major, there's just too many options. It's just way too many options. And the 1 I think is fine as well. Is it to do with the fact that we've used the flat 6? So, for example, if we want an E major triad anywhere, and bear in mind we don't need... Hold on, is it 2 triads we're skipping? Have I made an error in counting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, there are 12 triads in total. I think I had. No, sorry. Okay. I was counting up to 11, which is kind of a correct deduction because we're ignoring F sharp. F sharp is. It's impossible. We cannot have an F sharp major triad anywhere. So we have 10 of the remaining 11 triads. Yeah, so we have 8 of these 9. 8 of those 9 appear. So we don't know for certain that E major appears as a triad. Or maybe C sharp major is a bit more interesting because if C sharp major does appear as a triad, we need either a 1 sharp or a 2 flat to find the C sharp. Then we can have a normal F, which is a 4, the digit 4, and then we can't have A flat. We can't have A flat, so we would need G sharp instead because we've already used A flat in the flat 6 that we've got somewhere over here. So, this could be a very long video. I'm also recording this quite late at night because I just don't have a chance to record videos before my daughter's bedtime. So, C sharp. C sharp major, if it does exist, it needs a sharp 5, so it can't have a sharp 1, it must have a flat 2. It must be 2, 4, 5. That's the only way of making C sharp major work. So it can't be here, because there's a 4 in the box already. It can't be here. It can't be here because there's a 5 looking at it. It can't be here because this already has a 7 on it. It can't be here or here because they already have other things going on. So if the C sharp major triad exists, it must be in one of those other 3 spaces. How is that helpful? And the answer is, I'm not sure it is. Right. What else can we look at then? E flat major. E flat major has to have a 5. Then either a sharp 2 and a flat 7, or a flat 3 and a sharp 6. So what was that? That was a 5, and then either 2 and 7, or 3 and 6. So again, it can't be there. It could be there if it's the 2, 5, 7 variant. No, it must be to do with box 1. Like, the geometry is so perfectly well signposted. Unless this is the greatest red herring that there's ever been. With these chords pointing at box 1, we've got a flat in here. We've got 1 and 2 definitely as digits on there, and also this, whatever it is, whether it's a 5 or a 6. Is it right? Is it true to say that 1? Oh, is it really that simple? I mean, it's not simple at all. But I don't think. Oh, of course, right. 1 and 8. How did I not think of this earlier? I think I've done some useful thinking about general global properties of this puzzle, which is good. And and I've established some kind of understandings in my head. However, this is something that I think briefly crossed my mind about 20 minutes ago, uh, when I first started solving this. And I didn't give it a second thought, and I should have done because it's pretty obvious. Can 1 and 8 go on the same triad? Because 1 and 8 both represent a C. They're an octave apart, but that doesn't matter for the sake of forming a major triad. They're both C. Even if we flattened one and sharpened the other, we're not going to have two notes that are far enough apart that they can be part of a major triad. So 1 and 8 do not go on the same thing, but I think 2 and 8 also can't go on the same triad, because if 2 and 8 go on the same triad, then isn't this just another one of these? We've already used, 2 and 8 represent D and C, respectively. So again, we've got the options of either making a G major triad or an A flat major triad, but both of those are gone, and we can't make a B major triad with 2 and 8, because that would require a flat 8, a sharp 2, and then either a sharp 4 or a flat 5. Right, okay, so we can't put 8 on either of these. So the 1 and the 2 definitely go on different triads. And the 8 can't go on either the 1 triad or the 2 triad. So the 8 must go here. But we can say exactly the same thing about the 9. 9 can't go with 2 because they both represent D. And even if you flatten one and sharpen the other, you can't make them far enough apart that they can form 2 out of 3 notes of a major triad. And 1 and 9 can't go together because then they represent C and D, which can be formed into major triads, but only if they are G or A flat, which are already taken. So 9 is also there, and we have an 8-9 pair. There we go. That was hard fought, but actually not too complicated if you understand what's going on. Uh, so, right. So where is 5 in this column? Oh, that's so cool. I like that. That's such a lovely deduction because this can't be 5 because we know this is a 5-6 pair. Whichever of these is the G major triad, this is a 5. So we can't put a 5 here because that stops both of those from being 5. So where does a 5 go in this column? It is here. And that actually tells us that this is our G major triad. And the way to get a G major triad, let's just get rid of that, is a normal 2, a normal 5, and a flat 1. Right, so we have had our flat 1 in the puzzle. Right, we are 25 minutes in and making a bit of progress. So that now means that this must be the A flat major triad, which has a 6 here, flat. The 8 is normal, that's representing a C, and the 9 needs to be sharp in order to count as an E flat or a D sharp. So that is complete. We have now actually located our A flat major and G major triads. We've also used a sharp 9, that's worth noting. And we've got a 6 up here. Okay. I really hope my progress doesn't just suddenly stall now. That was all quite exciting, wasn't it? Um, yeah, 6 can very easily go with 1 or 2. If it's 6 and 1 together, that's an A and a C. That could form part of an F major chord. Or with modifiers, it could form an A major chord. Actually, maybe those are the only two options for 1 and 6 together. For 2 and 6, I think it would have to be D major. which requires either a flat 5 or a sharp 4 in the middle. Okay, so we've only actually got 3 options there. If the 2 and the 6 go together... Oh, is there any way, actually? We could have a sharp 6, and that could be a B flat major triad. Or we could have a flat 2, and that could be an A major triad. Okay, actually, yeah, there are a lot more options than I thought. One thing that it's probably going to be worth doing is... What do we feel about greying out now? That covers up the minims too much. Let's not do that. Beige, yellow. I mean, that covers up the minims quite a lot as well. Maybe we do go grey then. Actually, red might be the best one yet. Yeah, I can just about see the minims through that. Tell you what, I will make it a softer shade of red. Very, very, very soft red. Yeah, I mean, these modifiers are kind of blocking out the minims beneath them as well. There is actually a different version of this that I will also link. Well, what I'll do is I'll link the Logic Masters page where you can find a link to this puzzle, but presented differently. I haven't actually looked at that one yet. I don't know if that's better aesthetically or not. Well, no, I think it's better if you're focusing on the puzzle, but worse if you like the lovely aesthetics of it all. Um, so yeah, it's up to you which one you pick. And there's also a link on that page to the primer that we mentioned at the beginning of the video. Yeah, the page I'm talking about is this one, where you can see all of this. You know what? I know I'm distracting myself here. Okay, Twitch chat, it's not just you. But yeah, there we go. So that's a slightly less aesthetically busy version of the puzzle, where the triads have been written as orange lines instead. But anyway, we'll go with this version. We can even draw the orange lines in if we get really desperate, but I don't want to do that just yet. Good. Okay. All right. That's enough talking about aesthetics. I can make those red because I know that those need to be natural in order for the G major chord to work. Right, let's get back to thinking about the puzzle, shall we? Right, there's a 5 on here, of course. Right. So can the 5 and the 6 go together? Yes, quite easily. We could have a 5, a sharp 6. Oh! Maybe not, actually. A flat 5 would be fine. Yeah, right, let's think about this. So a 6 is representing an A, and a 5 is representing a G. If we sharpen the 6, we can have a B flat, which can go with B flat G and E flat. But I'm noticing that doesn't work, because given that we need 1 or 2 on each of these triads, if we were trying to make an E flat somehow, we couldn't make that with a 1. We would have to make it with a sharp 2. But this is based on the idea of sharpening the 6. So we can't have 2 sharps in the box. So that's not going to work. The 5 can't join the 6 and become E flat major, but it can join the 6 and become D major. And honestly, I think that's probably quite likely. Because all we need to do is flatten the 5 and do, yeah, a regular 2, regular 6 and flat 5. Okay, alright, let's think about Can we have 5, 6, and 1? No, I don't think we can. Alright, so I think if the 5 does join the 6, they will join the 2 in a D major triad. If the 5 does not join the 6, then I think we've got loads of options. I think we could do sharp 5, flat 2, and 4. Ah. No, we can't. Oh, that's interesting. Right, I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use corner pencil marks for what the 5 can be. The 5 can be part of a D major chord. We've established that, so I'm putting a corner pencil mark in D major because I'll delete these in a minute, but this is referring specifically to this chord. What does the 5 go with? So if it does go with the 6, I think it has to be a D major chord where we have a normal 2, a normal 6, and a flat 5. If it doesn't go with the 6, I thought it could go with the 2 in a C sharp major chord where it's a flat 2, a sharp 5, and a normal 4. But the problem there is that the other chord then can't have any modifiers in it at all because they've both been swallowed up by the C sharp major chord. And the only chords with no modifiers in them at all would be a C major chord, which would be 1, 3, 5. That's not possible because we've just used up the 5 in this hypothetical C sharp major chord. Or F major, which is 4, 6, 1 if it has no modifiers in it. And that's not possible because we're, again, hypothecating this time the 4 to this chord. So yes, we can't make this a 2, 4, 5 C sharp major triad. So let me just double check I'm recording because these kind of things, yes, I am. Good. Terrify me. Good. Shout out to GeoWizard if anyone watches his channel. He's made "Am I recording?" a meme. So I don't think we can make a C sharp major triad with 2 and 5. So if it is going to be 2 and 5 without the 6, well, how's that going to work? Sharp 2. Sharp 2, regular 5, flat 7 would work because that would be representing an E flat major chord. That's brutal. Sharp 2, regular 5. Oh, there's so many options to keep track of. So if there's a 2 and a 5 and no 6, we couldn't do C sharp major. I think we could do. We couldn't do G major, that's been done. I think we could do E flat major, sharp 2, regular 5, flat 7. Okay, so that's an option as well for the chord that has 5 in. If there's a chord. And I don't think that disturbs the ability of this one to be an F major chord with 4, 6, 1. I was about to say 4, 6, 8. Oh, hang on, there's an 8 here, but actually it doesn't need to be 8, it can be 1. So 1, 4, 6, sharp 2, regular 5, flat 7. That leaves, what, 3 here? Okay, that works. What about if 1 and 5 are together? Well, we can just do 1, 3, 5. All natural. And that's absolutely fine. I don't think we could do anything else. No, we could do flat 1 sharp 5 and 3 to make huh to make E major, but that becomes a problem because then we've used the sharp and the flat and we can't use either of those for this. I feel like there's probably a clean way of looking at this. But yeah, I think 135 is possible because then we can use any sharps and flats we like over here. Uh, right, do we start noting down some of these different possibilities? I think we should. So C, so the version that's C has a 135 triple down the middle. I'm just going to mirror box 1 in box 9 over here. And then over here, we would have a 2 and a 6. And if the 2 and the 6 go together, yeah, we just make 2 and 6 a sharp 4 with a regular 2 and a 6, and that's absolutely fine. Or even no, we can't flatten two things. I'm trying to go through all the options in my head. Sharp 6, 2 4 sharp 6 works. Oh, there's so many options. Is it worth marking that this is 3 4 or 7? I suppose that means we can't have something like 7 flat 3 sharp 4, which would otherwise be legitimate. Although we can't get that for other reasons as well. Well, the other reason being that would use up the sharp and the flat, and then we wouldn't have any all natural triads left for the other one of these. Oh, yeah, no, I've hit another brick wall, haven't I? Really badly. I do not know what to do. Am I at least along the right lines? Should we go through these options again? So there's definitely a 5 in this triad. And the options for that 5, I thought, were C major, where it's literally just natural 1 3 5. What does that leave for the other chord? It can't be 2 4 7 because then that cell would have no fill. That's an interesting point, actually. Well, no, it would be something with 2 and 6 in it. Oh, actually, that. No. I was going to say it would have to have 2 and 6 in it, and a sharp and a flat in it, but that's not true. It would have to have a flat in it. If we had a natural 1 3 5 here, this triad would have to have a flat in it, and it would have 2 and 6. The 2 could be flat. No, the 2 couldn't be flat, because then we would have a C sharp and an A, and then the third note to add to that to make a major triad would be an E, but we can't use the E because we're hypothecating the E, the 3, to this triad, and we can't use a flat 4 either because we're hypothecating the flat to the 2. Okay, so A major is off the cards. Two for our 2 and 6. if we tried to make the 6, no, we can't make the 6 flat. We can't make the 6 flat because we've already got a flat 6 over here. So what are we going to make instead? It can't be a flat 2. Could it be a sharp 2? No, because no triads have an E flat and an A in. So it would have to be a D and an A. So it would have to be either a sharp 4 or a flat 5, and it's not a flat 5. So it would be 2, 4, 6, wouldn't it? If this is 1, 3, 5, this would be 2, 4. No, no, hold on. No, it needs a flat. It needs a flat, not a sharp. Well, no, it could have a sharp, but it must have a flat. If this is 1, 3, 5, all natural, this must have a flat. And it can't be the 2, it can't be the 6. So the 2 and the 6 would be normal, which would be D and A, so we would need an F sharp. The only way to get that using a flat is flat 5, but we've already got the 5 accounted for. Right, so actually this is not an option. So I think the 1 can't go with the 5. If the 1 goes with the 5, is there anything else it could be? A G and a C. If we flatten the C, we get a B, and BGD does make a major triad, but it's this one. We've already used it. If we sharpen the 5, we get a C and an A flat, and that does make a major triad with an E flat, but it's A flat major, which we've already used over here. So we would have to affect both of them. It would have to be a B there, an A flat there, and we would need the E. But there would be a problem with that. What was the problem with that? An E major triad just here with a flat 1, a sharp 5, and a regular 3. What was the problem with that? I think it was, yeah, this would then be all natural, and we don't have any all natural options over here. Right, so that's, so 1 is not joining the 5. I feel quite confident in saying that, which means the 2 is joining the 5 over here. So we do get a D and a G. We could we flatten the D and sharpen the G and put an F in the middle? A 4? No, we can't, because then this has no all natural options. Can we flatten the 2 and not do anything to the 5? No, we can't, because C sharp and G don't share any triads whatsoever. Can we sharpen the 2? Can we sharpen the 2, flatten the 5, and have a 7? Is that a possibility that I wasn't considering? I think it is, you know. Sharp 2, flat 5, and 7. And then we can have 4, 6, and 1 all natural to make an F major triad there. So we've got B and F. I need to get rid of this. Otherwise I'm going to think that doesn't have any 1, 3 or 5s on it. So I think the third digit could be a 7 in this group of 3. Yeah, I think that's an option as well. I'm not immediately seeing why it's not. 2, 5, 7, 4, 6, 1. This would be a 3. That seems fine. Okay. It has just occurred to me that we have naturalised two of these three chords, two of these three notes in this chord. So, oh, hold on. Have I been going about this completely the wrong way? I've spent a long time, a very long time, obsessing over this particular triad. And we do seem to be whittling down the options a bit. But I think there's just still a few too many for it to be really restricted. What I am noticing though is this. Yeah, we've naturalised two of these notes. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of kind of stopping and staring. I'm not very used to this YouTube style solve. I don't know if you can tell. Um, we've naturalised two of these already. If that's also natural, then this is C major or F major. Those are the only two options left. But it's not F major because F major requires a 6 in it. So it would have to be C major, which is either 135 or 358. But I think it might be more interesting for this chord, because if this doesn't have any modifiers in it, then again it has to be either 135, not possible, 358, not possible, 146, not possible, or 468, not possible. So actually it does need a modifier in it, which means it must have a flat because we've already used the sharp in column 8. So there is a flat over there. There's a flat over here now. If this was all natural, it would be 461, but it does have opportunities to not be those things. Yeah, it's an interesting idea, but I don't think there's enough pressure. Um, the only other thought is, hold on. Yeah, like, are there three different chords that require one of these notes? Like, I'm thinking E flat. E flat is required. Ah, right. E flat and A flat. Right, E flat is required in the triads. Every note appears in three different triads. The triads that E flat appears in, or D sharp, the enharmonic equivalent, are A flat major, where it is already there as a sharp 9. Oh no, it's not going to be E flat, it's going to be A flat, I think. Yeah, I'm going to change tack. So A flat is required in A flat major, where it already exists as a flat 6. In E major, where it can't be a flat 6 anymore because it's now that's already been taken, so it would have to be a sharp 5. And also in C sharp major, and if we had an E major chord, we then couldn't have the C sharp major chord. Right, okay, so one of those two does not exist in the puzzle because we don't have three different ways of achieving an A flat. We do have actually 4 different ways of achieving an E flat, which is why I changed approach, because we can have no, sorry, not 4 different ways. We have 3 different ways of achieving an E flat, and I think we must use all of them. One of them is sharp 9, another is sharp 2, and another is flat 3. And we need all of them. We've already used sharp 9. We must have an E flat major triad, and we must have a B major triad, now that we know that only one of C sharp major and E major is possible. Right, so that one of those will be the missing one. Ah, okay. So we do need to look for 3 places for a 6 actually. That's interesting. So what I'm thinking there, yeah, 6 suddenly looks really quite interesting. Maybe this is something I should have realised like 40 minutes ago. But 6, so A appears in 3 different triads: A major, F major, and D major, which we now know all exist in the puzzle. So we must have 3, and we can't get an A by modifying a 5 or a 7, because we won't get close enough. To get an A natural, we just need a natural 6. And we can't have a natural 6 there, or there, because we had a flat 6 instead, or here, or here, obviously, because we've already taken that chord. So we must have natural 6s in 3. And you know what? I am actually going to draw in these lines. I think it will just be easier for everyone to see what's going on. Is that 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, it is. So we must have a natural 6 in 3 of these positions. And we can only have one in box 1, obviously. So okay, well, first of all, yeah, we can say that this is definitely not a 6, because that would prevent 6s from going there, there, or there. That's not going to make or break the puzzle, I don't think, but it is true. Are there any other observations like that? So we need a natural 6. Sharp 6. Do we need 2 B flats? B flat appears in B flat major. It appears in F sharp major, which we know doesn't exist in this puzzle. And it also appears in E flat major, which we know does exist in this puzzle. And there are only 2 ways of making a B flat. It's a sharp 6 or a flat 7. So actually, in these positions, we need 3 natural 6s and the sharp 6. Okay. It's starting to feel a bit more restrained. There's still a tiny nagging voice in the back of my head saying that we could have made more progress whittling down the options in box 1. But maybe if we have these thoughts all in conjunction, we will get somewhere. We've got 2 digits in an hour. This is not going quite as impressively as I hoped. So in these, I'm going to call it 5 positions because we can't have both of these triads here. We need 4 6s. Yeah, so there are some places that 6 just can't go. Like, it doesn't mean much, but this cell can't be a 6 because it prevents those. This cell can't be. I think that could be if we had 6s. So 1, 2, and then one of these. Oh, that's a point. We do have a 6 in here. Must it necessarily be on the chord? I mean, it's very likely to be on the chord. If it's not on the chord, if it's here, for example, we then would need a 6 on here, and here, and here. And then obviously we're going to get a 6 over there. What about a 6? What about this chord? That feels like it could be interesting. It doesn't have a 9, a 3, a 4, or a sharp on it. Maybe that's more restricted than I'm giving it credit for. You know what? Let's just go through the options. Can it be A major? That would require a 6 and then either a 3 or a flat 4. No, okay, so it's not that. Could it be B flat major? It would require a 7 flat, a 2 and a 4 because it can't have a sharp. Okay, so it's not that. Could it be B major? No, because B major requires 1 sharp and 1 flat. Could it be C major? No, because that requires the note E, which is either a natural 3 or a flat 4. Could it be C sharp major? No, because that requires a flat and a sharp. Can it be D major? That would require a natural 2 and a 6 and a flat 5. Okay, so that is an option. I think it's going to be the only option. So D major is an option. We're going to highlight that, I don't know, yellow for now. I think nothing. I haven't. All of the others were not options, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure the others were not options. Okay, so E flat major again requires a sharp and a flat, not an option. E major requires the note E, which is either a natural 3 or a flat 4, not possible. And F major requires the note F, which is either a sharp 3 or a natural 4, not possible. So this is D major. Right, there we go. So this is 2, 5, 6. Actually, I'll keep the colouring in. The 5 is flat here. Oh, so actually that means this is not the flat. That is a natural 2 or 6. And we can't have D major anywhere else in the puzzle. So I was talking about this chord earlier and saying that it was quite likely to be D major. Well, it's not anymore. Right. Oh, this is good. Progress. Alright. I'm feeling better about the world. So we've accounted for D major. This now can't be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 8, so it's 1, 7 or 9. I don't think I'm going to focus on that very long because I'm going to come back to this because I can get rid of this one corner pencil mark. If you'll bear with me, I think I will just go through the options one more time. So I feel fairly confident that I managed to convince myself thoroughly that 1 and 5 couldn't go together. Yeah, the options were C major, which caused problems. Why did C major cause problems? With a 3 or a flat 4. Why did C... Why could this not be 1, 3, 5? Because then this would have to be 2 and 6 with a flat something. And I think all of those options were off the table. Couldn't be flat 6 because we've already had one. Flat 2, yeah, didn't work. And then flat something else didn't work. Oh, it's so hard to keep track of, but I think that's right. Yeah, okay. So it can't be 1, 3, 5. Yeah, and then it can't be 1, 3, 5. With a flat 1 or a sharp 5. Okay, I'm pretty convinced that this has a 2 and a 5 and something else. So what is that now? Given that it's not D major anymore. I said that it could be E flat major if we have the sharp 2 yeah, the sharp 2, the regular 5 and the flat 7. So this can be 2, 5, 7 taking both modifiers, both accidentals. It can't be D major. It can't be C. Can it be C sharp major? If we flatten the 2, sharpen the 5, and then have a 4 in between, yeah, that leaves no options for an all natural chord over here. Okay, so it can't be C sharp major. I think the other one was B major. If we sharpen the 2, flatten the 5, and have a 7. Oh, that's weird. Either way, this is always 2, 5, 7. Oh, that's so strange. It's always 2, 5, 7. And it always uses the sharp and the flat. That's so weird. 2, 5, 7. So that, yeah, I'm convinced. We don't actually know what's going to be sharp and what's going to be flat, but we know. Well, actually, we know that the no, yeah, we know the 2 is going to be sharp because we have an E flat in both chords. But in one chord we have a G natural and a B flat, and the other one we have a G flat and a B natural. Okay, so actually that's not a 2. And we can make all of those red. We can make this the digit 6. We have a third digit in the puzzle. We're racing away now. This has to be an all natural chord with a 1 and a 6 in it. The other one is a 4. So this is now a 3. Okay. And we've now used F major. No, I'm not using red there. I'm using grey. Okay, so we now have used one of our all natural chords. That's good, because now our only other all natural chord is C major, which requires a 3 and a 5 and either 1 or 8. So it can't be here. Can't be here. So yeah, we need a modifier on here. We need a modifier on here. We know we're going to get a modifier on here. We need a modifier on here, but that might be a flat down here, or it could be a sharp anywhere, or it could be both. So one of B and E flat is now done. Okay. And where was 6 needed? 6 was required as part of a D and an F, an A major triad. How are we going to get our A major triad? Well, it's not going to go there because there's no way 7 can be part of an A major triad. Oh, okay, alright. Let's not let this momentum slip. There's a 2 over here. There's a 1 in here. Is that useful? Probably not. I was about to say there's a 5 over here. No, there's a 5 there. There's a 7 here. Oh, this just is 4, 6, 7 actually. And that's not a 4. This is 1 and 4, 1 of 5 and 7, and also 2. I don't think this kind of fiddling about is going to help our cause. How are we doing? We've had nearly 70 minutes. We've got 4 digits. Okay, 4 digits. Not doing terribly. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we'll speed up. I'm hoping this doesn't become like a 5-hour video. I also want to go to bed fairly soon. But we will deal with that once this puzzle is done. So we have got quite a lot of the chords done. F major is done. B, tell you what, let's do this, because we know that this chord will either be B major or E flat major. Yeah, and we've also accounted for the 2, the sharp 2. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I'm going to think about this for a moment. Am I? Yes. Yes, I am. Well, I can make all of that red, can't I? So there is a sharp over here. Yeah, let's think about F sharp. I know F sharp major doesn't appear in the puzzle. D major does, and that has a flat 5 in it. And also B major does. Oh! Right. Oh, that's it. We've had our flat 5. Oh, I need to do this, don't I? We've had our flat 5 over here in our D major triad, so our B major triad can't have a flat 5 in it. So this is not a flat 5 and a sharp 2. It's a regular 5 with a sharp 2 and a flat 7. There we go. So this is B major. No, this is specifically not B major. I can get rid of these corner pencil marks as well. This is E flat major, and the natural note is the 5. Okay, right. There we go. So we also have a 7 along here for what that's worth. So B major must have a sharp 4 and a flat 3 and a regular 7. A sharp 4. Let's get rid of the 5s over here. A sharp 4 because it can't be a flat 5 anymore. A flat 3 because it can't be a sharp 2 anymore. And a regular 7. Oh, it's coming together. So this can't be... Yeah, this can't be our B major chord because it needs a 4 and a 7 in it. It's it specifically needs to be 4-3-7, doesn't it? Okay, so this is a candidate. This is a candidate. I think this is as well. But this is not because it doesn't have a 3 on it. Oh no, this is not a candidate because it needs a sharp and a flat. So this, yeah, B major. That's not a candidate for B major. That's not a candidate because it needs a 4 and a 7. But they would both have to go here according to my pencil marks. So either this or this must be 3-4-7 with a sharp 4 and a flat 3. Okay. I suppose that means that this is not going to be, well, it's not a flat already, and it's not going to be our sharp because we need to save our sharp 4 for something else. But I'm looking at this. What's going to be sharp over here? Is it, well, it's not the sharp 4 because we know the sharp 4 needs to be reserved for our B major triad. If it's the sharp 6, we need sharp 6 to be a B flat in either the E flat major triad. Oh no, it's not that anymore because this was our E flat major triad. So it would be B flat. It would be the B flat major triad. So if we have a sharp 6 here, it must be on the triad and it must be part of B flat major, which requires a 2 and then either a 4 or a sharp 3. But it couldn't be a sharp 3 if we've already got a sharp 6 in the box. So it would need to be a sharp 6, a 2 and a 4, which it can't be because we've got both the 4 and the 6 in this column. So we can't sharpen the 4 and we can't sharpen the 6. We must sharpen the 7. Right, okay, so we've got that accounted for, a sharp 7. So this note here is either a regular 4, a regular 6, or a sharp 7, all of which, well, they are F, A, and C. So this triad definitely includes an F, A, or C, but it's not F, A, C, because that's already been taken. What else could it be? It definitely includes the note FAC. A major has an A in it, so it could include the A with a sharp 1. No, not a sharp 1, but maybe a sharp 8 instead, because they amount to the same thing. Or a flat 2, or a flat 9, because they amount to the same thing. Oh, that's a point. Yeah, is that a point? We've got a flat 5 somewhere. Where was our flat 5? Over here. Yeah, it's been accounted for. So this can't be a sharp because there's a sharp in the box already, just from asking where the sharp goes in column 3. And it can't be a flat. Yeah, that's something I didn't make clear, actually. That's something I will need to get better at if I do more of these YouTube solves. The reason I knew there must be a sharp in these 3 cells was because I asked where does the sharp cell go in column 3. And that's when I started asking, well, can it be the 4, can it be the 6, or must it be the 7? And the answer was, it must be the 7. Okay. So we have a flat in here, which now means we can ask where does the flat go in this row? And the answer is over here. What has an F in it? B flat major. Can we make this B flat major? No, because that requires the sharp 6. Because we've already used our flat 7. Okay, so if this is... So this is not B flat major, it's not F, we've already had that. C sharp major, is that possible? So a C sharp, I think we can get in a number of ways. I'm not worried about that. The A flat, though, would have to be a sharp 5. Yeah, no, we can't do that. So this, I don't think this can be an F, is what I'm concluding from that. It's not part of an F major chord, and we've just checked B flat major and C sharp major. So this is not an F, so that's not a 4. So it's either an A or a C. If it's a C, it can't be part of an F major chord or an A flat major chord, so it must actually be part of a C major chord. So it must be sharp 7. And then how do we get the G? How do we get a G natural when 5 is unavailable? Right, so this actually is a 6. Okay, there we go. So it's a natural note, and whoops, and it is a 6, which is an A, which is part of not D major because we've had that, and not F major because we've had that. So it's part of A major. So this is an A major triad, and that's a natural note, so it can't be the C sharp. So it must be the E, which is just a 3, a natural 3, and this must be either a flat 2. Well, no, it can't be a sharp. The sharp's over here. It's either a flat 2 or a flat 9. By pencil marks, it's looking very likely to be a flat 2. But I think both are possible. But this is good. This is good. We've got even more progress. So, I mean, is this cell restricted? It's not 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 1, 8, or 9. Okay, that's probably not where we need to look. But right, let's deal with the fact that we've just discovered A major. That's good. We are happy about that. It's a really interesting puzzle. I'll try and remember to give some simultaneously brief and thorough thoughts about this puzzle at the end of the video. But at the moment, my thoughts on it are along the lines of it's surprising where the break-ins happen, and it's not too difficult if you know what you're doing. But I was convinced the break-in was going to be all about box 1, and it kind of was. It kind of was. Yeah, the fact that we got the 8-9 pair here, that was really powerful. That put the 5 in the column over. Yeah, anyway, no, these are not my concluding thoughts because I'm far from concluding this puzzle. But yeah, that was really cool. And then it was very global. It kind of shifted from this fairly local deduction to, that was just the trigger for something much more global about trying to keep track of all of your different chords. But anyway, let's carry on. Is it worth thinking about B major actually? Because we already have thought about it. It must be a 3-4-7, where the 3 is flat and the 4 is sharp. Yes, we have thought about that. Okay. Have I done all of my admin up here? I think I have. what else do we need to do? Oh, I really don't want to get badly stuck. I've already done that. um, oh, I tell you what, this can't be a flat 2. Oh, that's nice. Right, yeah, that cell is either a 2, a regular 2, or it's a flat 5. So this can't be a flat 2 because that prevents both of those possibilities. So it must be... Oh, hold on, we already knew it was going to be a flat. Actually, that's a much easier way of doing it. We know it's a flat, so it's green. The next thing we do is make that red, and we make that red because it's not a flat. So we make this green, and it is therefore the 5. And this is a 2 or a 6, and the 6 tells us that it's a 2, and that bounces back and makes that a 9. And this a 2. Okay, that's an easier way of spotting that. This becomes a 1-8 pair. That's good. So we've now had our flat 9. That's exciting. And yes, of course, we can make that a 6 as well. Oh, hold on. Why is this not being resolved? Come on, Stuart. Come on. You're letting down the name of the pedaling pianist. Right, we decided that was going to be the sharp 7, didn't we? Because the sharp 4 is required for a B major triad, I think. So that's... well, in fact, actually, that's not a modifier. Right. Okay. This is good. This is good. There's a 3 down here which hasn't been flattened yet. So we might want to use that here. With a sharp 4 here and a 7 there. Right, that might be what that is, because we know that either this or this must be our B major chord. Is there any more regular Sudoku? Because we don't have many digits left here, do we? This is 1, 7, 8, 9. 9 comes out of those cells. 6 in this row is only in one of 2 places. And if it's here, is that a problem? No, not necessarily. We need... So we've had F major, we've had A major now. We have had D major. So that's all of the places where an A happens. So the B flat, what was that in? That was in B flat major and E flat major we've already had. So B flat major needs to be a sharp 6 because we've had flat 7 and a 2 or a 9. I mustn't forget 9. So a sharp 6, a 2 or a 9, and then either a 4 or a sharp 3. But it can't be a sharp 3. I think I've said all of this before, so apologies that I'm probably repeating myself, but I'm... there is a lot of note-taking space in this grid, which I very much appreciate, but it feels like not even close to enough for how much I'm trying to keep track of in my head. And I'm denying myself the ability to use a notepad, but maybe that's foolish. So it can't be a sharp 3 because if we've got a sharp 6 already in the B flat major triad, we can't have another sharp. So B flat. So it would be a sharp 6, a 2 or a 9, and a regular 4. Is there anywhere? So that's either going to be here. Well, it can't be here because that's got a 7 on it. It can't be here because that can't have a 6 on it. Wait, so is it just here? Is that where it is? It must be. Where does B flat major go? Which is sharp 6, 2, 4. Can't be there. Those are all already accounted for. Can't be there. Can't be there. Already accounted for. Fine. It can't have a 7 on it. It must have a 6 on it. Yeah, it is here. Right, okay. So this is sharp 6, 2, 4. So it doesn't have a flat on it. It must have a sharp 6. And we've now accounted for our sharp 6, which we kind of had already, but we didn't know exactly where it was going to go. And I said it was either a 2 or a 9 and a 4, so it can't be a 1. So it is a 9. That's good. So this is a regular 4 and a sharp 6. Nice. And then this is a flat. Oh, that's not an 8, by the way. That's not 3, 4, 6, 8, 9. So it's 1, 2, 5, or 7. But it's not 7 or 5, so it's 1 or 2. Have we had a flat 2? I feel like we have. No, maybe we've not. But we're going to need one, aren't we? Flat 2. No, actually. No, that's nonsense. No, we've had a flat 1. Oh, right, okay. So actually this must be a flat 2. Right, okay. Nice. Oh, I really want to click tick and make sure I'm on the right track, but I'm going to avoid it. I'm going to try and stream properly, or live solve properly. Right, these are not sharp or flat, so they're natural, and then we have a sharp over there, which is not sharp 7. Let's just take note of the fact that we've just made a flat 2 over there. Sharp 1 and sharp 8 both seem to be available. But yes, we have a natural 7 over there. That's fine. We can cope with that. So I think we've now dealt with all of the chords that need 6s on them, I think. What I'm trying to say is that I don't think this has a 6 on it. If it does, what's that going to be? Wait, we've done B flat major now, haven't we? That was this one. It's not going to be A major, F major, D major, or B flat major, F sharp major, E flat major, and it's not going to have a flat 6. Yeah, this can't have a 6 on it. It just can't. So 6 goes over here in box 8, and that's a 6. Okay, it's a digit. It's a win for the good guys. There's a 9 up here. So we really don't have many left. We've got this B major, which is an intriguing one. We've got C major, which could very well go... Oh no, but E major. Should we ask about E major now? That feels like a good question. That said, I've just been distracted by this trio, which we can pencil mark in as 3, 7, 8, but not a 7 in the corner. And this trio can be marked in as 4, 6, 9. That's fine. Okay, right. So back to what I was saying. What was I saying? Sorry, I just had a horrible thought about, have there been any situations where I've assumed I needed a 1 or a 2 when it could have been an 8 or a 9, or vice versa? I don't think I have. Okay, alright. Now let's finally get onto the train of thought that I wanted to get onto. E major. E major requires the note E, which is either a natural 3 or a flat 4. The note G sharp, which is either a flat 6, which we can't have, or a sharp 5, which we have not had yet. Right, oh no, E is one of the ones where we don't know if we're going to have it because we could have C sharp instead. But we must have B. Yeah, I'm less inclined to think about it now that I've remembered we don't actually need the chord E. But we must have a B major triad here or here. Right, okay, so that's not a flat because we know that the B major triad must be a 7, a flat 3, and a sharp 4. And the flat 3 would be prevented from going here or here if this was a flat. So this is red. And if this is a flat, that's at least a tiny bit interesting because then this would be 3, 4, 7. Oh, they both just work so well. With the sharp 4. Oh! No, no, I had a brilliant idea, but no, it's not going to work. I thought if we made this the 3, 4, 7, then we would get a second sharp 7 over there, but that's actually a lie. That's not how that would pan out. Um, okay. I think we're doing well. We've had, I think the predicted solve time, if I was going to do it on Twitch, was 90 minutes. We've just surpassed 90 minutes. But the fact that I'm doing it on my own, and I do feel like we're probably one or two big deductions away from solving this. I think we've done quite well. It's certainly a difficult puzzle, but we are coming to the end of it, I think. So if this was our 734, this would have to be the flat. Yeah, we can say that one of those two is flat. Again, if this was flat, it would prevent flats from going on either of these. So this would be the flat, which is the 3. This would be the sharp 4. Is that a problem, actually? That is a problem. That's the problem. Right, okay. This is the problem. If we tried to make this, or this, a sharp 4, what's this digit going to be? Or what's this digit going to be? If we made this a sharp 4, which it would have to be if this was our B major triad, then this would be neither a 4 nor a sharp. But we know that this needs to be a 4 or a sharp 6. Right, okay, so this is going to be our 7, natural 7, sharp 4, and flat 3. And I think this is going to be huge. So we can naturalise all of this now. We can naturalise that. We can sharpen that and remove 7. We can grey out B major. That's done. And actually, we only have one space left for C major, don't we? Because if this was C major, I expected C major to be the most flexible of all of them, but actually if this is C major, then the 7, the only way that 7 can contribute to a C major chord is if it's a sharp 7, but we've got a sharp 7 over there, so this is not C major, so this is C major. C major requires a natural 5, either a natural 3 or a flat 4, and either a 1 or an 8, or a sharp 7, but not a sharp 7 because we've used that. Okay. We can do that pencil mark then. That's not great. Obviously we can take 8s out of there. We can take a 5 out of there. I do have an idea for what we can look at next, though, so I'm not bereft of ideas. There's more stuff we can definitely do. Oh, actually, that's not going to be a 4, because if 4 does exist on this chord, it's as a flat, and so it would need to go over there. Okay. Yeah, I think all of those options are still possible, though. So yes, now the thing to look at, surely, is this chord, which must be either C sharp major or E major. If it's C sharp major, how does a 7 contribute to that? Given that C sharp major has a C sharp, an F, and an A flat, or the enharmonic equivalents of those. A 7 represents a B, which we can sharpen or flatten, but we're not going to reach any of those 3 notes. Right, so this is not C sharp major, so C sharp major is gone. Should we just make that kind of brown? Just to indicate we didn't have a C sharp major or an F sharp major. That's a shame. Those are 2 lovely chords, but hey, they're all nice. So we must have an E major over here, which has a natural 7. That's just a normal B. And then we need an E, which we can either get by with a normal 3 or a flat 4. And we must also have a G sharp, and the only way to get that is a sharp 5, because we've already used our flat 6. So there is a sharp 5 in here. There we go. Right, which means that these ones are are empty, they're natural. So we've got a flat over here. Oh, that's natural as well. A flat over here, a sharp over here. So a sharp over here. Surely it's not going there, is it? The only way we could have a sharp contributing to a C major triad is if it was a B sharp, but we've already had our 7 sharp. So that's not going to be sharp. That is sharp, which disambiguates this for us. Let's try and recall what that actually was. I think it was E flat major, was it? With a flat 7. Oh yeah, we've already had the sharp 7. So a flat 7 and a sharp 2. Nice. Okay, that seems to place 7 in box 3, which is exciting. I think we're doing pretty well. Oh, almost. Yeah, where's 5 in column 5? Given that we know it goes over here in box 8, it's not in box 8, it's not 7, 4 or 3, it's not 6, and it's not there, so that's a 5. Whoops. What did I just do? I don't know. Anyway, let's put a 5 in there. And now where does 5 go in this box? It must go here. Although that's still not totally resolved things. Oh, but this isn't a 4 anymore. Oh, no, sorry. No. Making that red was premature. It still could be green. In fact, green does go in one of those 2. And if we discovered that seems difficult actually. If we did discover that this was green, it would be a 4. So it would be a flat 4. But then we'd get a flat in here, which could only be another flat 4. So we would get 2 flat 4s. So if this is a flat 4, we get 2 flat 4s. So we can't make it a flat 4. So we can take green out of there, put green in there. So now we do have a 3 in here. This is it's a 3-5 pair with a sharp 5. Oh, we've got an X-wing on sharps, which I suppose we could see by doing that. Where does the sharp go? Here, and it's there. It's a 3 or an 8. Hold on, I've not been doing very good admin. We've got our sharp 5 over here. We've got our sharp 4 just here. We've got, whoops, we've got our flat 3 in box 5 as well. So we only seem to have 4 and 8 left as flats. Is that right? 7, 9, 1, 3, 6, 5, 2. Yeah, 4 and 8. Nice. So this is a 4-8 pair. Both of which see this cell. That's lovely. That's really lovely because that now gives us a 1-3 pair, which we can use to write 4 into here, 8 into here, 9 into here, 8 into here, 4 into here, because it's not 8 anymore. That's a 1. That's really nice. I enjoyed that. So now that's not a 4, so it's a 6, and that's a 4. And I think that one was the one that had to be sharp. I panicked for a moment there because I seem to remember that this triad was B flat major, which has a sharp 6, a natural 4, and then a natural 2. So I was panicking for a moment, but actually it's the 9, and 9 is effectively the same as 2. So it's fine when that's natural. 9 in row 4 I think has been available for ages. And so, yeah, we've done all of the flats. We've done them all. I've not coloured them all properly, but we have done them all. So we only have 1, 3 and 8 left in sharps, is that right? 2, 4, 7, 6. Well, we can deal with the 5 here. And then a 9. Yes, right. So it really is just 1, 3 and 8 left. And that's not going to be an 8, so it's a 1 or 3. That should be resolved. Surely that's resolved. Apparently it's not resolved. Alright. I'm surprised. Anyway, we've got a 1, 3, a 3, 8, and a 1, 8. Oh, really? That's brutal. So 2, 5, 1, 2, 5, and 8 into here. The 5 is just placed. Okay. That makes things hopefully a bit easier. Yes, that's an 8. Oh, that still doesn't resolve things. I do not believe it. That's a 1, 2. 2, 1. This resolves things. That's a 1. So that's making that a 3 and that an 8. Sharp 8 in the corner. Those are naturals. So that is the whole grid covered. Or coloured, I should say. Or both. So that 8, what did that do? It makes this a 3-7 pair, which is resolved. I think, yes, we do get our 3 in the corner, just not in the corner that I thought it might be. Very good. That's not 4 or 6. I think we are just in normal Sudoku mode now. The deductions that I'm doing silently are all just normal Sudoku deductions, so hopefully you can forgive me if I'm not explaining every thought process. This is a 2-7 pair. Yeah, the thought process when it comes to normal Sudoku I think is fairly self-explanatory. 2 in the corner, 1 there, and 4 here. That looks good to me. 7 and 2 is resolved. 2 down there, 1, 8 and 9 into here. Not resolved yet, of course, but we can get a 9 here, which is going to do it, so that's good. 1 goes in there. 8 in here, and we need 5 and 7, and we need to resolve this 1, 8 pair. Whew, wow, ABC. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. So simple as do, re, mi. A lovely solution message. I believe there might be an in-joke in there as well, which I very much appreciate. That's made me chuckle, but honestly, it's probably too long a story to explain to my YouTube audience. So apologies for that. I'm just going to grey these out because otherwise you'll probably all tell me off. And maybe unredden these. Yeah, yeah, that looks nice. Um, yeah, beautiful. What a puzzle! What a puzzle! That took me what 1 3/4 hours. Um, yeah, and how long have we been recording? Because if we can keep this under 2 hours in total, yeah, I've got 5 minutes to do my concluding thoughts. Don't worry, I'm not going to spend 5 minutes talking about it. Yeah, I think about halfway through the puzzle, I gave some concluding thoughts, which was an odd time to do them. But yeah, surprising break in. I was convinced that we were going to be doing lots of local logic when we had these two really well signposted triads pointing into box one, and we were able to get an 8 9 pair, which did some useful things. But after that, yeah, there was a lot of global logic, having to keep track of all of the different chords, realizing that we could only have one out of C sharp and E, and that we couldn't have F sharp at all. That was an important deduction, and that I think that's what really sent me in the right direction and made me really start thinking about the right kinds of things, like the six. The only way to get the note A is with a natural six. So six was required on lots of different triads, not just as a natural, but also as a sharp and a flat as well. So, um, yeah, that's really well put together. Really, really impressive. And the givens were all useful. That's another thing that's so striking about this. Yeah, I there was every single given was important and useful, not just for resolving the Sudoku at the end, but for making important deductions about like where the 5 went in column 3. The 1 and the 2 and the 8 and the 9 were obviously very important for the break-in. The 3 and the 4 preventing this from being a totally natural triad. That's something I admire enormously, being able to put in impactful givens, and when it's one of each number as well, beautiful. Anyway, I've been rambling long enough. I will surpass 2 hours if I'm not careful. But thank you so much for an incredible puzzle, Justin, and for your wonderful friendship and the features you've given me on your channel as well. It's yeah, you're a very clever chap, and I think this proves it. Um, Thank you very much all for watching this far. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I will hopefully be back soon for more of this kind of thing because I've enjoyed it. It's been difficult, but I've enjoyed it. Yes, bye for now.